Just about ready to get going. Everything okay? Now we're good to go. And we're recording our webinar. Yeah. Okay, so just making sure we are recording. So the webinar will be available online afterwards for anybody who is not here this morning. So Happy New Year, everybody. It's the first IMGS webinar of 2015, and today we're going to be talking about the 2015 GeoMedia release. As you're aware from the webinar notes, the presentation is in listen-only mode, so you're able to hear us, but we can't hear you. So if you have any questions or comments, please use the GoToMeeting panel on the right-hand side there, where you can enter in your questions, and Amanda will pick them up and we'll address them at the end. Okay, so let's get my slide working out. Yeah. So first thing to talk about this morning is the new geospatial power portfolio from Hexagon. So this year, if anyone has downloaded GeoMedia 2015 or any of the Hexagon products, you'll notice that they've now been rebranded into a package called the Power Portfolio. And the Power Portfolio combines the best of the photogrammetry, remote sensing, GIS, and cartographic technologies available into the relevant producer, provider, and platform suites. So the aim of this is to help you derive more information from your geospatial data, and with the new applications there's more creative and intuitive interfaces and the ability now to build and automate smarter workflows. So that the Power Portfolio will enable you to transform your disparate content into actionable information. So I think this is something that's going to be evolving over the next couple of years from Hexagon. This is the first release where they've really brought the products together, and you're going to start seeing more and more in these areas. And the first area we're going to talk about this morning is the Producer Suite. So the Producer Suite is made up of the old AirDAP Imagine, GeoMedia, and Image Station products. These enable you to easily leverage your content from a variety of rich Earth-based data sources. And the suite empowers you to collect, process, analyze, and understand raw geospatial data, and ultimately deliver this into useful information. So, as I said, it includes really the desktop-based GIS, remote sensing, and photogrammetry products that you've been aware of before, Imagine, GeoMedia, and Image Station. So, from a product point of view, they haven't really changed. They're still standalone products. They're just now coming out onto this Producer Suite. And the first thing you'll see if you launch GeoMedia on 2015 is you'll see a new orange logo as opposed to the old blue. So that's the first main change. So what does GeoMedia as a range of products bring you? Well, it allows you to access disparate data sources natively and view them simultaneously. It provides you with the capture, edit, and validate feature data capture tools so that you can capture information accurately into enterprise databases, and allows you then to analyze that information so that you can make important decisions. And a big thing with GeoMedia is that any analysis will automatically update dynamically as data changes. So you don't have to go back and rerun the queries. They'll automatically reflect any changes in the underlying data. A big evolution coming now with GeoMedia is the ability to visualize data and analytic results in 3D. Of course, there's an add-on product called GeoMedia 3D where you can do your flyovers and build proper 3D models. And also with GeoMedia Transportation Manager, you can also build and calibrate and measure transportation networks. So if you want to do linear referencing and shortest path analysis and route mapping and things like that, you can use GeoMedia Transportation Manager. And of course, with any GIS product, the key output is being able to compose and lay out the information for printing and presenting using cartographic quality styles and rendering. And you can also then finally publish or export that data to standard formats so that it can be used by other departments within your organization or to external organizations. So GeoMedia itself is a comprehensive dynamic GIS which helps you extract the maximum value from your geospatial data. Integrating it is to allowing you to integrate data into present, clear, and actionable information. And what's new now in 2015 with GeoMedia? Well, the biggest thing that's come in 2015 and actually has been requested by some of our customers for a number of years now, so it's great to see it, is the actual ability to create business graphics so that you can illustrate analytic results and then provide nice, clear maps and reports statistically on your analysis. So something that hasn't been in GeoMedia but is now available. so that you can now build these kind of nice kind of pie charts and graphs, and they're all configured through the same style interface that you would use for any other features. In essence, it's just an advanced thematic. And as well as being able just to use the default pie charts and graphs, you can also build your own complex styles, like in GeoMedia. When you're building styling or hatches together by combining styles, you can also do that then on your pie charts and add in extra styling onto them by just building layers or styles. So again, something that we've been looking for a number of years in GeoMedia, and now it's great to see, and actually it's very easy to use. So I will show that now in the demonstration. What we've also done is there's also some labeling improvements. So one of the big ones is the labeling reuse. So as anyone who would have seen our webinar last year on GeoMedia 2014 would have seen the GeoMedia tools, or the labeling tools. So what that was that came in 2013 was the ability to dynamically create labels which were intelligent. So you could then build rules into the labeling. So if a text was 1 point font size too large for the polygon, it would automatically shrink that to a size that fits, but wouldn't shrink too low. So, and you could put in leader lines, you could get the text to warp along the polygon, or if it was, say, a street text, it would follow the curvature of the road. Whatever rules you want to do, which it could automatically done to create very advanced labeling. Now, one of the issues with the 2014 labeling was you would create it for one layer, and then if you built a new map window, you couldn't actually bring the labeling across automatically. You had to rebuild the rules. With the 2015 release, you can now push the labeling rules into the legend. Well, as long as you name the legend, you can then reuse that legend and the labeling in any other map window without having to reconfigure it, which again is a great help. GeoMedia has long been a very good tool at reprojecting data. So if you're bringing information in from multiple projections and grids, it can be used to actually reproject that data into a single grid on the fly, and there's been some performance improvements in that in this release. And they've also improved the table interface in the data view, made it easier to use, and improved the Apollo interface. Apollo is the Hexagon Geospatial's cataloging solution, so anyone that hasn't been aware of it, it's a very powerful solution for cataloging data, but also for serving up point cloud data and web service information as well. It's on WebMap Portal as well. And they've improved some of the navigation and made it easier, so if you scroll the mouse now, it runs a little bit easier and it's nicer to use. Some other usability tools. We now have a new function in the function analysis to compute the centroid, and there's a new command in the navigation tools to be able to center the view with a simple click, as well as using your precision keying. So if you want to map the center of the XY, you just type in the XY and it'll go to it, or you can just click on the center view button and click somewhere on the map and it'll map to that point. Again, very simple tool, just wasn't there before, can be very useful. And again, it improves the scroll mouse wheel. And if you are working on queues, you know, if you're doing a data geometry validation and you've got a queue of information to validate, and you close your workspace, go home for the evening and come back next day, then the queue position will be remembered, so it starts off from where you were before. So just to show you new, one of those new commands. Oh, something wrong there. Okay, I'll show it in the demo. It's not coming up. The improvements, some also improvements on the data access side of things. So now, remember last year we had the ability for the first time in the 2014 release to read and write to Esri file geodatabase. So with the 2015 release, that's now been enhanced, and we've also got the ability to export data out. So if you have your data in your central SQL Server or Oracle or Access database, and you want to do a data export to Esri file geodatabase, we now have, that's now been added to the export to list, and you can dump the data out there. And we've also now got enhanced, we've also always supported SQL Server and SQL Server Spatial, 2008, 2012. We now also have support for the native type in SQL Server. There's been some improvements on how GeoMedia handles WMS performance, and also if you are running multiple grid data supports, it'll again have doing reprojection there. And we actually have improved the cache management. Again, I think it was 2013 release. We had the ability in GeoMedia to build a local cache. So if you are working with lots of data, you can cache some of that data locally to improve performance of the mapping. So you can now do that better again, and now it stores the cache management per connection, and also supports spatial filters. So you can actually then just filter out the data you want to cache based on an area. So just to show the data access, hopefully this video runs, it does. So you can see now here on the video, we now in the export to, we've got the file geodatabase as an option. You can pick any information. In this case, they're picking some queries that they run. So they've created some queries on some data, and now they're going to create the geodatabase file and hit export. You can see you can pick your EPSG code as well for the grid and export out. So very, very useful. Again, if people are using GeoMedia from and then maybe have to provide data in ESRI file format, again, things like MyPlan and these kind of websites, this is very useful. And you can see here with the export to SQL Server, similarly again, you can output the grid, output the SQL Server 2012 format, and output the data. So again, make the interoperability a lot more easier. So if you are using information, and that could be information taken from other third-party formats like MapInfo, CAD, it just makes it so much easier. And again, you can see with new warehouse connections as well, we still have our ESRI file geodatabase read and write that we had before. Sorry, this video we were blurred. And again, you can pick up that file geodatabase, open it, and then see the data. And the same with the SQL Server. So we've now got SQL Server spatial read-write there as an option. You can connect your SQL Server 2012 database and hit OK, and you're able to bring that information in. So you went to your legend, and you can see now the 3 layers that were dumped in the query can now be added to the map. And you can order them and move them around. And you can see also there just the grouping that we can use. It again, that was something that came in, I think it was later versions of 6.1, but you have in your legend 2 ways of looking at the data. You have the display order, which does the mapping view, and then you have the grouping, which allows you to group things and make them an easier way to move around and turn on and off layers. So you can see how they're navigating the map there. SQL Server. Okay. And I'll just move that on a wee bit. And you can change your styles and data. Okay, so you can interrogate that SQL Server spatial information and use it. Okay. All right. One other thing that's now being used, that's coming with the new version, is the mobile expansion pack is now automatically installed into GeoMedia. So we have some customers who use GeoMedia in the field on mobile rugged devices, like I think that some of our customers are using them on Trimble Humas, I think they are, but this could be on the Leica CS25s, or any device that's got GPS capability, and you want to use GeoMedia in the field so that the map will then navigate and move as you're walking. Now at all 3 tier levels, so remember again with the 2013 release, GeoMedia was split into Essentials, Advantage and Professional. Essentials being pretty much the read-only basic client, analysis client, with actually there is some simple data capture in it. Advantage is the more advanced data capture tools, and Professional is the full-end editing, the cartographic production suite. So Advantage is very much a very useful option for data editing in the field. So if you want to disconnect, take a data out of the field, do some data capture, you can use GeoMedia Advantage. the mobile expansion pack is now embedded in the product, so you can actually then hook it up to the interface. The map will then navigate based on where you're walking, automatically navigate as you're walking, and also you can capture using the GPS interface. So I was going to show you that. Oh, I have a little problem with that one as well. They were working this morning. Okay, this is on my laptop. This laptop doesn't have the right codecs. So anyway, what the video does there is it shows the GPS moving across the screen. It'll show you the satellites picking up. The satellites will then be used for navigation and used for data capture. Sorry, wrong way. Okay. Also, we have a lot of G technology customers here in Ireland who also use GeoMedia. So again, you can now access the G technology data at all tiers. So I think before you had to actually put an add-on into it or build in the component yourself as the data interrupt. It wasn't off the shelf, but now G technology is there as the connection at the 3 levels. So if you need to read that data, do some analysis on that G technology information, you can easily do it and hook up to it. Okay, so I'm going to jump out now to show you GeoMedia 2015. These videos will never work anyway, so better off showing the live software. So first thing you can see is we've got a nice little logo here at the bottom. So it's changed now. GM, it's orange, shows part of the producer suite. And if we jump in here, you can see I've got a central map of Dublin with some council boundaries here. So first thing we have is we can see up here we have our little zoom center map button. So if I click on it, click down here at North Wall or East Wall, my knowledge of Dublin is pretty bad, or over here in the west, the map will center in to wherever I'm centering at. And you also have the ability to just type in those center coordinates down here as well, and it'll go to it. So very quick way to get around the map. Of course, you can just go to fit. So simple and tool, useful, has been, usually people would just zoom to an area and pan. But very quickly, that means you can jump around the map if you're at a street level or whatever, and you can pick it up. So nice little add-on there that's been there before. You remember we're still in our since 2013. We have, any people haven't seen it, the GeoMedia has the nice ribbon interface, taken very similar to Office 2013. So you can see we've grouped everything together. And again, the ribbon is depending on what data you have. So this access connection doesn't have any partial information set up in it, doesn't have any transfer information set up in it. So it's only shown, those menus aren't shown because your data isn't showing them. So the menus are context sensitive. Again, you can also have your quick access toolbar, which I always like to show below the ribbon, so you can see it here. You can add any of the layers up here to it. So my nice new button, I'm going to add to the quick access toolbar, so it's there, and I can quickly click it, and it's over there, and it comes back. And you can see also as well, we have our little web map button, something we're not talking about today, but we will be looking at, Kieran will be doing a 2015 web map webinar pretty soon. So any of the data that you have here, and even these graphs and charts and everything, you can then export them out to web map and then see them on the internet, on the intranet. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a layer. Now this data is made up, so it's some information I just put together just to actually prove how do we use the pie chart. So people ringing up saying the unemployment rates in North Dublin aren't what I was saying. They are not true. They're just my own little put together information. So you can see I have 5 points on the map. And actually what I want to do is put together a nice bar chart there of this census information. So if I click on one of the records just to see it, you can see what I have is I put some numeric values in here. So I've got pensioners, unemployed, students, and employed. These are percentage stats of, as I said, made up numbers of the breakdown of the employment and what people are doing in each area. So you can see out in North Dublin that these are the numbers, South Dublin. So what we want to do is put together a nice little chart to reflect those numbers. Like you can very quickly then look at each county boundary and figure out the information. So this could be for anything, Again, I've hard coded these numbers in, But this could be where you use GeoMedia to chain together some queries, where you do some analysis and come up with this information, where you're analyzing census information, where you're taking data together, creating a query, and at the end of it you say, right, I want to put some charts on the map to make this easy for people to understand and see. So very quickly, all you got to do is you click on the Style button, and you'll now see on the legend entry properties, as well as having our usual standard style, we have our range thematic and our unique value thematic, we now have bar chart and pie chart. So I'm going to select the bar chart first off the start, and then you see we have the attributes that are in the table. I can then say, okay, I only want to use 4 of them. And as you see, as I pick the 4, they're then shown in the chart up above. You can also decide which way you want the chart to go, left or right, and you can color your boundary as well. So I'm going to make it red, and you can pick a ramp then to go through it. So I'll pick nice blue. And if you want, you can name these styles. It's like any other style in GeoMedia. You can name that style, you can publish it out to the library so you can store it and use it again. But I'm just going to go OK and hit that. So straight away now, you can see we have our charts and they're on the map. And you can see very clearly the areas with the high. But my colors don't actually stand out that well, so what I'm going to do is go in here. Again, I've just moved my map, so I'll fit that again. And I'm going to change the pensioner's color. So I click on the style. Click on style properties, and in here now I can say that one's going to be red. So you can see when you have created the style, you can go into the advanced properties now. So I can go in and say, right, unemployed is going to be yellow, students are going to be blue, and the employed are green. So I've changed my colors, and now you can see straight away on the map the values, the colors have changed, and now they're nicely and clear and you see. I can also go in here and say, right, actually I got my numbers totally wrong here, so there's only 25 students and there's 50, 60, 40 pensioners, very old parish. Hit OK, and straight away the chart updates and reflects. So as I said before, the charts don't have to just be taken straight from a table. They can be taken from a query. They can be taken from a set of chain queries. So any way you can produce information to create those charts, they can be then done. They'll dynamically update as the information below changes. Okay, so that was the bar chart. I want to go in and change it to a pie chart. So up here I can go style type, pie chart style. And now we're back into the pie chart. So again, I'm going to keep my pensioners unemployed, and I'm going to make it bigger because I want to see a bigger one is the map, so I'll put it to 48, and I'll just hit OK on that one. So straight away now you can see my chart has increased. I've now got my pie chart. Again, I can go in here and give it some nicer colors, red, blue, yellow, and green. And also, we've also got other things we can do. We can change the offset of the pie chart. So it's taken off the point of the geometry. So if you want to put it at an offset or alignment, you know, to the right hand of the geometry, you want to use the rotation. If you want to change transparency or rotate it in any way, but actually what I want to do is do the tilt, and I'm going to make it a bit thick as well, so put to 10. So I'll hit OK on that. And now you can see my pie chart really now stands up. I put the tilt on it so it's at a nice angle so it stands away from the information. And also I've made it a bit bigger so it jumps out from the map. So, you know, very, very, very easy to do, but very powerful. And again, you can click on them, the feature, and you get the information. Or you can hover over and you get a nice little tooltip with the colors. So I've got my red, blue, yellow, and green. And I've got my percentages. And as you can see, I've been using percents myself, but actually you could actually just enter in numbers yourself, and then it'll rejig the percentages and show you them on the fly. So if I actually change that and put it to say 50 for the students, hit OK, you see the change colour, and if I hover on the tooltip, you'll see now the 50 actually represents 43.8%. So it automatically calculates the percentage for you because it is a pie chart. It can only be 100%. So it shows the chart and it shows the graphics. So I think that's really, really useful, very easy to do. And again, with the style properties, like anything in GeoMedia, you can build multiple styles. So if I wanted to add a new style here on top of it, like a point style, and I could put a white symbol, I'll make it 12, I'll move it up so it's above, and the circle filled, and OK. You now see that point. It's not because we've done the tilt, it's not dead center, but if I had to put it dead center, it would then go in. So you can actually build some nice, complex kind of styling, put other features, like if I want to put a graphic in there, like a man or woman or something to show the breakdown, I can do that as well. And I can go in and I can turn that off just by going right, away you go, and it's gone. Okay? So it really gives you the power to build these nice graphics and charts that you can then use. And of course, once you have created this little chart, what you want to be able to do is, in a lot of cases, is take that out and go into your layout window, into my layout window, and then I have a predefined layout here, so I'm going to go insert, let me select it, insert, graphics into layout frames, and we've now got my chart, and anyone remembers with the layout window we can actually dynamically move the chart to fit the window because I didn't use fit to extent. And you have it in your print, and then you can print that out to a plotter or print it out to a PDF or whatever you want to do with it. You can take those charts and send them out. Again, this is all very simple stuff, but it's very much welcome in the GeoMedia range. I think there's that kind of analysis and being able to produce these kind of final output reports is very useful and something we've been waiting for a long time. Okay, so if I go back to my map window, I'm going to turn off my pie chart. And I'm now going to add in some extra planning data. So again, add, and I go into my database here. Thanks as ever to Dublin City Council for their planning data. And planning master, there we go. And we turn on the planning data. So you can see it's on there and at level. So the first thing I want to do is put a nice color so it looks nice. Change it to blue and apply. And we've now got our planning data. So again, some things that's always been there in GeoMedia, but people may not have seen them before. I can then zoom down to my street level here. Again, this is where a little select tool comes in handy. So I can say, oh, I'm interested over here. Hit the button on the map or pan. Oh, I'm interested in the custom house. Click in there and it'll come in at the center. So you can see how that's really useful. Also with GeoMedia, you've always had the ability in the last couple of versions to have a tooltip on the fly. So if I want to have the decision, and as I hover over a record, the decision will then come up. And in some cases, there's multiple records. So let me get one here. Yep. If I hover over the record, the decision should come up. I'll leave my mouse for a second. Yeah, application valid. Grant permission. So the tooltips will come up. So you can have those tooltips. But of course, in a lot of cases, what people want to do is be able to set up labeling. So if we go down here to this area, I'll pan here. If I want to be able to show the decision code on the map, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to set up my labeling. So we're into label manager. And we'll see we have our planning master, so I'm going to label it. I'm going to tell it to use the decision. I'm going to make it a nice font, say 10, and I'll make it red. red, and okay. So that's my thing, my style, and I'm going to build a rule on that. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to use leader line. So if it can't fit in an area, use the leader line. I'm going to use font reduction. So that's going to go back at least 0.2 of font, so four steps at a half each, and I'm going to place it horizontally. So I'm going to create that rule. So I've now got my planning master rule. So that's what we've had that since 2013, and again, very, very useful. And if I then toggle dynamic, the map will then come on. The rule will then be applied, and it'll create the labels for me. So I'll give it a second. So now what it's doing is it's calculating which labels can fit inside the polygon and which have to jump out. So you can see on this one it was able to fit inside. On these, the smaller polygon, because I said use the leader line, it pops the information out, and vice versa. And you also see even these areas here where we have planning applications that are sitting on top of planning applications. They haven't dropped the text on top of each other. They do space them out, they do make sure they're clear, and then you can see them. So that's fine. So we've done that, but one of the issues we had up until now was if you went to a new map window, you would have to recreate that label rule and apply it again on the new layer. With 2015, I can go into my legends, so I can say home, legends. I'm going to name that legend. So it's DCC plan, and go OK. And then I'm going to do is I'm going to go create, add a new window. And you can see I've got a DCC plan here now. Click OK, and the new window comes up. And naturally, it remembers the legend, not the extent. So if I then zoom into another location down here, I can also just dock my legend. So I haven't, you can see there's no labeling. I haven't set up the labeling. But if I go in here now and go toggle dynamic, it'll remember the rule on the planning master, and it'll apply that label straight to the data as we had done before. And again, that name legend can also then be passed into a library. So I can use my library connection, so I can create a new library, call it whatever, and in there I can go library organizer. I've now got a name legend called DCC plan. I can push that into the library. That legend can then be shared with other users across the organization. Okay, I'm using an Access database there, but it could be a SQL Server or Oracle database, and you could then share that legend with the labeling rules all on. Because remember, I did the labeling very quick there, and you can still see it's a bit messy. Usually you'd spend time on the labeling to try and get the labels exactly right, which rules you'd use, how much do you suppress, how do you use leader lines, what other rules did you build in. But then if somebody else wants to be able to use that, all they've got to do is just bring up the library, post in the legend with the full configuration, and the labeling will come in with it as well. Again, some might say, yeah, it's a fairly obvious thing to do, but it wasn't there and it is there now, and so that makes, again, just the use of labeling a lot more easier and easier to share around the organization. Okay, and just final thing then, you also would have noticed the very small things. When I do click on a record, we've got this nice little, they've changed the dialogue here, and you've got a little thing to show you in edit mode on a record. It's kind of, I think there's a drive at the Hexagon level to modernize the platforms, modernize all the products, use Windows presentation, WPF, as the front end. So you're going to see this a lot more. So there are a lot of things going on to the HUD with GeoMedia, a lot of changes going on to modernize it, move to .NET and to the more modern platforms. So again, you don't always see the end products, but you at least see there is a modernization going on there. And the other one I didn't show you was the GPS, which should be on the vector. Yep. So on the vector, we now have our GPS tracking. It used to be you had to install that automatically yourself as a manual add-on. Now it's available at all levels. So you can set up your tracking, as long as you have an enemy GPS interface coming in, you can set that up. You can tell it what features you're going to capture against. You can then capture data, you can navigate, you can bring the data in, and you can then use that information and work with it. So we don't have I don't have GPS in this device, but that's something you can use. And again, I said a lot more people with the 3 levels of GeoMedia, it is more cost effective to take this information into the field and disconnect and go and use it as a mobile platform. That's all there and all ready to run. Okay, so that's a very quick introduction into some of the key features that are coming with GeoMedia 2015. So let's go back to my slide deck. Okay, so we have, we've been running these webinars for the last year or so. So we do have 6 webinars already recorded. So last year's 20. So if you want to see some of the functions that were in GeoMedia 2013 and 2014, there was a webinar from last year up there. We've also got a webinar on Smart Client, and WebMap, which are the system products. And we're missing one webinar there, just looking at it. There's also a webinar on Point Cloud, on using Imagine, which I forgot to put on it. So you can actually see Apollo, pretty much see all the Hexagon Geospatial products up on our webinar site. So they're there, and we of course have some FME webinars. The next webinar we're going to have will be around this time next month. We'll be finalizing dates later in the week, and that will be on location of Overshore. Also, then we'll also have we'll be having a webinar on WebMap 2015 and Smart Client to show some of the functions later on in the year as well. With those dates just be confirmed. Kieran's busy with testing and checking WebMap 2015. I think there's a lot of things around 3D in it this year, and of course I'm thinking those charts will work, but we'll be checking that you can publish those charts. I'm nearly certain you can. Okay, and we also, it's not on my page here, but we also do have blogs on our blog site. So if you go to the IMGS website, you will see the link to the blogs. So there's blogs on GeoMedia, there's blogs on Apollo, there's blogs on FME. Great source of information. Actually, Glenn has been writing some very cool blogs and using Imagine, which are up there, on Python and things like that. Things I don't understand, but yeah, they look good. So please go on the website and you can see them. Upcoming events for those who are in Ireland and want to come and meet us and see us. Our annual user conference, IMGS 2015, will be on the 26th of May at the Navy Golf Club. FME World Tour this year is going to be a wee bit later. I actually think we're one of the last countries this year to be doing the tour. So we're going to be in Dublin on the 29th of June at the Ashling, and then next day in Belfast at the Mount. And the same then, if you are interested in seeing more of the Hexagon Geospatial solutions, we will have our Geospatial user group in September on the 15th at the Ashling Hotel, and then we're giving ourselves a day of a break before we go to Belfast on the 17th in the Mount again in Belfast. So hopefully you can come along to those. We're pretty much on time. I just want to see if we have any questions. No questions.
I've got a question. Is it possible to label the charts on the map to put in the percentages?
Possible to label the charts. Yes. Yeah. You would just. Let me go back. Then turn off this labeling. So I turn off my labeling. Turn off the planning. Stay off. Turn on the stats and fit by legend entry so I can see them. Okay. So yeah, you would probably could create. Yeah, you'd create a label. Oh, I know what you mean. Like the CD's values on each one. Yeah, like the same way you have two of them. Where did you get that question from? Yes, I think you could. Like it's definitely doable. I would say. Yes, you would use an expression. So what you would do with the properties would be, you could then have your bar chart style, the label, and yeah, I think what you have to do is build another style here. So add in a style which reads the attribute and then offsets it across it. So you could have a label that comes on. Yeah, the tooltip is neat. The tooltip does it really well. It shows it really nicely.
Yeah, but if you wanted to print off the pie charts with the percentages in them, because like you couldn't really tell from the print off whether the pie chart was say 70% or 65% or whatever.
I think you just have to you have to build a complex file. Let me see. Do they have a screenshot? The text can do one. Boom, boom, boom. What did they put in there? Here's my homework for me now. Tooltip. No, it's not there. That one there, they did have. Yeah, here, there, they had it there. They have it there in that screenshot. Let me just get that screenshot. I think it's the case that it's not. You see here the percentages are there. I think I would say that's probably a functional expression or something that's taking the values and putting them on the chart. It's probably a more complex. It's probably a third style that's then taking the attribution and putting them out. But you can see there that's done. It can be done. I don't think it's. I think it's a bit of fiddling with the styling and maybe a functional expression to get the information out. But we will look for the official answer for you.
Okay.
That's what you get for asking somebody to do a session, not doing anything. Then you start sitting there thinking about questions. Okay, so we have no other questions, Amanda? No? All right, so the next webinar will be next month. Thanks again for everyone attending. The webinars are a great success. We're getting a great attendance every month. Hopefully you find this one useful. As I said, we will later in the year delve a bit more into some specific workflows, because I think with the 3 releases of GeoMedia now, it's really starting. You can do some really cool things with it. So we're going to start focusing on workflows in the future. But today was just to give you an update of what has come in the 2015 release, and hopefully that was of use to you. So thanks to Kieran and Amanda for attending and arranging everything and getting the machines built, and hopefully we'll talk to you next month. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.